Here's an actual typical day as a BDR SDR working in a tech sales company. Roll out of bed. It's 7:30. It's time to start your day. Goodbye, wife. I'm going to work. No, it's 7:36. Only 24 minutes to make my coffee and start on my day. Whew. Now time for my morning commute. Made it. Traffic wasn't even that bad this week. Because I want to blow my quota out of the water and be the #1 SDR on my team, on Sunday, I put together a list of people that I can reach out to on the East Coast. I'm in Central Time, so it's 7:40 where I am, but these people are East Coast, so it's 8:40 where they are. So now I'm gonna start smiling and dialing. I'm not interested in 10 before 10. I want 10 before 8, and that's what I'm gonna do. 10 phone calls before 8 a.m. There's nothing that wakes you up better. It's way better than a cup of coffee. And I'm dialing with intent. I have my script that I'm gonna hit. I have the personalization for each of these people. I know exactly what I'm gonna say to them and why they're gonna wanna talk to me. And I know how I'm gonna leave a voicemail if I don't get in contact with them. And I'm gonna log it all inside of my CRM after I do it with notes to myself about when to follow up with them. And I'm gonna tell them in the messages that I'm going to keep following up with them until they talk to me. And if they tell me no, that's fine. But they need to tell me no. They can't just ignore me. John, this is Chris Duvall with Company Name. Do you have a moment, or is this the worst time to talk? I promise, I'll be fast. Philip, I'm starting to get worried. This is the third time I've called you and I haven't heard anything back. So I'm wondering if you're trapped under something heavy. And if that's the case, I will need to reach out to your coworkers to do a wellness check. I don't want to have to do that. So please give me a call back or shoot me a text, even if it's just to let me know you're not interested. Again, this is Chris Duvall with Company Name, and my number is XYZ. Thanks. Really exciting. Congratulations again on the promotion. Let me ask you this. What would you say are like the top 3 priorities, the things that you're trying to solve for in your first 6 months? A lot of times when someone gets promoted, they know exactly what changes or new strategies that they want to implement. And what's that for you and your team? Okay, yeah. And where does SOC 2 compliance fit into that? And how big of a deal is that? Okay, and what's the urgency behind that? Yeah, totally makes sense. Okay, and then is there budget already attached to this? And who would need to be the signers, the people that you would need approval from for a project like this? Yeah, I mean, since the urgency's there, you know about our product, you're interested in what we can do to help, and this is a top priority, what makes sense to me as a next step here is to have a conversation with my account executive. And maybe it's not a good fit. Maybe this is not the problem for you all, but it seems pretty critical for your goals this year to find that out. Okay. Well, what about Monday, 3 p.m.? Are you Central Time? Perfect. I'm sending you an email with that time zone right now. Can you accept it on your end? Great. I'll talk to you then. We got a little carried away and accidentally ripped through 25 dials instead of just 10. But that's great news because it means we have less to rip through later on today. And it's also great because it's now 9 a.m. so I can call more people. More people are awake and ready to rock. But before we do that, before we rip through more dials, more calls, let's look at what meetings are supposed to show up with my account executive this week. And let's figure out what we can do to ensure that 100% of them do. Whether that's sending a Starbucks gift card or calling to follow up to make sure they'll show up if they haven't accepted the email invite or something else. Figure out a way to connect with these people on a personal level and ensure that because of that personal connection, that they will definitely at least do us the human courtesy of showing up to that meeting that they promised that we will. So we're going to move heaven and earth to get these people in that position where they will show up as they said that they would to that meeting with our account executive, because that's what actually we get paid on. Our job is not just to book people for our account executive, but make sure that they show up to those meetings. So now, whether my company gives me the budget to or not, I'm going to, if I need to buy gift cards or something like that to connect with these people on a personal level, I'm going to do that to make sure that they show up for that call and that my metrics are out of the water for attended meetings. Also, I make a bunch of money for every time that those people show up. I make like $250 or $500. So I'm going to do the things that are necessary to get those people to show up so that I make that commission check. By this time, I've done that or planned everything that I need to do for this week around that, and it's 10 a.m. So what am I going to do next? Next, I'm going to start hitting my inbox, my Slack, my inbox, and working through all of my backlog. And then after that, by that time, it'll be noon. It'll be lunchtime or 1 p.m. After that, what I'm going to do is I've got meetings to attend with my account executive, with my manager, with my team, with my mentor that's on my team. All of these people, I have these meetings spread out over the week. I need to make sure I'm prepared for them and show up to the relevant ones. And then I need to plan who I'm going to call tomorrow this same way, what I'm going to call them about, what messages I'm going to leave, what I'm going to say if I get them on the phone, do research on these companies, on these contacts. And by that time it'll be afternoon, and I'll start ripping through my dials. And then I'll go to bed and I'll do it all again tomorrow. So that's a typical day for a BDR SDR. And am I hanging out in the break room, eating a bunch of snacks and free food? No, I'm not. Am I just laying on the couch having a nice easy day? No, I'm at my desk with like a dedicated keyboard and mouse and a big screen, because I want to be ultra productive, because I need to get a lot of stuff done. Now, am I going to make a lot of money and be very successful in it with this strategy? Yes, I'm going to be super successful. I'm going to exceed quota. I'm going to knock my peers out of the water because I'm taking this very seriously, and I'm working at this in a very serious way. In fact, sometimes my boss will be like, hey, why aren't you focusing on this spiff for this month or whatever? I have to think in a way that drives results. So sometimes I'm not even doing what my boss is telling me to do, because I'm thinking about how do I book those meetings? How do I drive those results? I'm thinking like a manager in my own seat. I'm still thinking like a manager. How do I drive those results? So I'm taking ultimate accountability for those results and for that success. So that's what a successful, a serious day as a BDR SDR looks like. And the result of that will be very rarely will I ever hit less than 120 or 150 or 200% of quota. I will set myself up for quick promotion opportunities to the account executive level, and I'll have a lot of fun doing this actually, and I'll have a lot of success. In my career, I went from making $60,000 a year to $220,000 a year within 3 years of starting in tech sales. And you can do the same thing. So if you want to figure out how you can do that with your career, then in my bio is my link tree, and you can book a free meeting with me, and I'll give you advice on that for free. Also, if you want to work with us at Tech Sales Mentors, we make 90% of our pay only if somebody accepts an offer that they love with a tech sales company. And so we are really incentivized to get you a job, and we're results incentivized. We're not just incentivized to let anybody in the door like a certification or a boot camp. So if you want to learn more about how you can do this with your career, if you're somebody already working in sales, or you're a recent college graduate, those are great people to get jobs in tech sales. Or if you're someone else that just wants some advice, book that free consult with me. We would love to help you, give you advice for free, and if it makes sense, to work with you too. Thanks.